Okay, after Miss Travis Wayne Goodsell, after having done the video that's being uploaded right now on YouTube for the name of Donald John Trump and how we know our names. We know the meaning of our names, and we want to learn all about our names. At least that's what used to be done in the olden days. So I thought I'd pander to my one, maybe two, if I'm lucky, viewers, and do a personal video that nobody's going to be interested in. It's about my name. After my dad graduated from the University of Berkeley, California, where we lived in Oakland, California, my dad got a job working for the Ford Motor Company, so he took me and my brother out to Michigan, where two of my sisters were born, and I began school in kindergarten and first grade there at Miller Elementary School, and I remember asking my mother, well, before that, after I actually was taken out of the last day of class, my first grade year, as my dad got a job. Well, he was going to look for a job. I guess he got fired again. He got hired by Ford because of the Pinto scandal. So they were looking for a financial advisor. And so my dad got that job straight out of university. And so we moved by, I think it may have been U-Haul, I can't remember anymore, but it was a moving van, and packed everything up in the van, or the van, truck, and took the long journey across the United States to Southern California, where we stayed at my mom's parents' house, which is a mansion, so there was plenty of room, where we resided there until my dad finally got a job and then found a house out in Placentia. And on our journey, we of course would stop at rest stops and convenience stores, and one particular convenience store had Sean Cassidy's 8-track. 8 tracks, yes. Taxi dance, put it on another show. Hardy Boys rocks. And another one, we found little nameplates where it would show your name and then the meaning of your name. And so the parents got one for each of us 4 kids at the time. The reason why I say 4 kids is because my parents had another girl when I was 17 years old. So when I was sneaking home videos to watch downstairs below their master bedroom, I would hear them as the bed goes creak, 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 bouncing up against the wall. And nightmares children should never experience. But that's where I learned that my name meant he who is from the crossroads, or one of unity. My mom since did little pillow, I can't remember what it was. I no longer have it, it's long gone. But it was our name with our meanings on it, and we got that in Placentia as a Christmas gift once. And so I was always fascinated by my name and its symbolic meaning. And I asked my mom one day in Placentia, why did they call me Travis? Was there any significance to calling me Travis? So my mom tells me the story is that when she was pregnant and they knew it was going to be a boy, knew I was going to be a boy. Isn't it? My dad, being the patriarchal leader of the home that he was, despite my mom's alt-right, white supremacist, racist Mormonism, said, okay, you have three options: Vincent, Quentin, or Travis. My mom chose Travis. My dad was being kind of funny, but at the same time telling her he's going to be named Travis. What's interesting is my dad is Wayne Lewis Goodsell, and so his dad was Louis Benoni Goodsell, Benoni being a biblical Old Testament name. And so my name, Travis Wayne Goodsell. So you have Louis Benoni Goodsell, Wayne Lewis Goodsell, Travis Wayne Goodsell. Each of us, my dad and I anyway, taking the first name as our middle name. And so when I had Clayton, and I was not allowed to call him Stephen, from the biblical Stephen, who was stoned under orders of Saul, who became Paul, because I knew exactly what was going to happen way back when. And so Stephen is the masculine of the feminine Stephanie, which is his mother's name, and gets stoned by Saul, who became Paul, and so Clayton became his name, and he who is from the clay town. And so the father's blessing that I gave tied the two names together, so I won in the end. And I knew my son was going to go through some hard times because of his mother. Mother! And so he got called Clayton Travis Goodsell. And so that's how that came about. Also, when I was a child in Placentia, as I'm learning about my name and its meaning, and I of course am in the Mormon church and have prophets who prophesy, and Joseph Smith was prophesied in the scriptures, as well as Jesus Christ, who was prophesied in the Gospels and in the Book of Mormon. And oh wow, prophets, prophecy, their actual names are in there. That would be real cool if my name could be in the prophecies of the Bible. And of course, Travis is not a biblical name. And so I then thought, well, sometimes they're encoded. Maybe my name is encoded also, because, Isaiah and Jeremiah are referring to the branch as the name of such a person. So that's weird. Maybe my name is like that. And of course, I had no clue as to how to understand coding. So that died pretty quickly as an option for me. Yeah, I took notes. That's what I'm referring to here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And so then I become a teenager and become a teacher in the Aaronic priesthood. And that April conference, after my birthday on the 17th of March, St. Patty's Day, where I often got Lucky Charms for my birthday breakfast anyway. Having 4 kids and soon to have 5, the breakfast cereal went real fast. But Benson comes out and gives his Aaronic priesthood talk. As I'm an Aaronic priesthood holder, just become a teacher, about the youth of the noble birthright. And so he then triggers in me, oh, maybe I'm prophesied to be somebody. But who? I'm gonna be the soldier in God's army. I'm gonna kill the heathen. It was never like that. We never understood it that way. Even though I think we're supposed to. And so, again, that comes and goes. But it's carried on in seminary and in the church as we youth were constantly reminded of that talk. And then I'm graduating from high school, and I'm going to go to Ricks College, and my mom wants to make sure that not only do I become an Eagle Scout before I turn 18, she wants to make sure that I get my patriarchal blessing before I head off to Ricks. And so it just so happened that our patriarch in the stake was a relative on my mom's side. I can't remember his name, and I planned on having my blessing to read to you, but oh well, we'll go by memory. And he interviewed me previously and was all trying to find out, so what do you want to do for a career? That was his focus. He talked about our family ties and that, but then shifted, wanted to know about the career that I wanted to get into. What do you want to do? I had recently gotten my security guard license, and I got that by skipping out on basketball practice, and so the coach benched me on the next game so that I didn't start. He had to be fair to the other players. Can't let me get away with it. He then, I then said, I want to be a private investigator like Tom Selleck. And I even used to wear the almost Hawaiian shirts, but mine were untucked. I couldn't do the tucked in look of Thomas Magnum, even though my mom demanded it. I rebelled as quickly as I could, because we men are a little insecure about things down below. And so he then got into the patriarchal blessing. He started off calling me to the House of Ephraim, of course, because all of us white Mormons are put in the birthright blessing category house. And because he was family, he wanted to do a good job, rather than a patriarch who just does it to get it over with. And so he believed he was trying to do the best he could to listen to the Spirit for mine, because family. And he starts talking about the pre-existence, and that God had chosen me specifically because I was to do something on Earth and blah blah blah, and then gets into mission. He looks forward to you serving a mission, and he talks about a mission, and there's going to be a foreign language possibly in your mission. Study and look forward to it. What language? I had taken French because I was forced to in order for graduation requirements. My mom wouldn't let me transfer to Corona to do German, and I didn't want to learn Spanish because everybody was saying that's a hard language to learn over French. And so now I know, pardonnez-moi, est-ce que vous aurez du grey poupon? Or voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? As Stephen Colbert did in his thing 2 nights ago. So I'm left confused as to what that meant. Then he gets to my career. You know, he interviewed, he wanted to find out what I was going to do for a living, and he was going to really hammer down on a career. And 2 sentences. That's it. If your career choice remains the same as indicated, you are blessed to be precise in what you do. And everything you need will be provided to you. I can show you the books of ancient languages. But I didn't know that at the time. Then he goes right back into mission. Because he kept being pulled into mission in his thoughts. He wanted to do career, tried to force it, was only allowed 2 sentences, and went right back into mission. And this time, it's a high and holy calling. But he doesn't know the title. One name or another. It's not made known to me at this time. And so whatever it was, he had no clue. It's not the president of the church, as many Mormons were thinking they were being called to in their patriarchal blessings, as my mom herself dated a guy who claimed in his patriarchal blessing he was to be the president of the church. So that's a common theme for Mormons, apparently. But no, he didn't say president of the church. Just a high and holy calling. He just didn't know the title of it. And so it's not an apostle, it's not a member of the 70, and it's not a stake president or a bishop, not our elders quorum president, just a high and holy calling. Still have yet to have that. But you know, those kinds of things affect Mormon children specifically, as we have scriptures with prophecy and name meanings and patriarchal blessings. It starts affecting our minds and our thinking and our way of living. And so that's been a curious thing for me as I've lived my life. What's also significant is the rest of my names. Wayne means wagoneer, which I'm an ancestor to pioneers who followed Brigham Young blindly into the desert. But Brigham Young didn't call them pioneers. That's a later term. The actual term Brigham Young used was wagoneers. Wagons, get your wagons, and come with me in the desert because the Lord said so. I'm now the leader. Follow me into the desert, where Jesus Christ said it, but don't listen to Jesus. I'm the prophet now. And Matthew 24, guys. read your scriptures. And so that's where Wayne comes from. And then last name, Goodsell. You think, oh, a good seller. No. It's the Druids of England is where it comes from. Apparently, we're from the Prussian Druids in Germany, but we haven't made that tie to the Prussian connection. So somewhere back we did it. It's probably in the 1500s, because that's as far back as we've been able to trace so far. And it's likely that lineage that we can't go beyond is from Prussia. So they were probably among the first Prussians to be sent to England. And we were Druids, as I mentioned. And as Druids, with our name, it indicated that our clan were high priests of the Druid order, because Goodsell originated as Godsoul. So God, and soul, as in Bende Selle for the Central Ten. More French for you. Soleil, solar, sun god. That's the Druid high priest is representation of the sun god, and that's where our name comes from. And so that's always been fascinating. But I've never really got into studying the Ruan alphabet and the code vocabulary, but interestingly, the Knights Templar used the Druid language with a little twist for their Knights Templar order. And so the Kensington Stone, for example, has that language of the Knights Templar. But what's also interesting is that the name God's L. And so when I learn about Superman, and I remember in Placentia having watched the movie Superman that came out, and then I decided I'm going to get on top of the roof and jump, pretend to fly like Superman. Dum 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 dum. So didn't hurt myself doing that. I did, however, because my dad did not do the honeydew list and cut down the dead branch that was sticking out of the tree into our front yard, and I was playing football. Well, sort of football. It wasn't really football because we didn't have enough people to play football. We were just playing with a ball that was a football, and it rolled under the branch. I went down to get it. Boom! Right in my right eye. Wounded. And I thought it was completely gone as I was screaming in terror. Ah, I'm blind for life. Ah! And got rushed to the optometrist, and it only scratched my cornea. So it warped the cornea so that contacts have to be specially designed in order to stay in, and most of your Walmart optometrists don't care about that. So I don't wear a contact in my right eye because they pop out more easily. And because of the optometrist purposely trying to force me to wear contacts and keep replacing them so that I pay more money for contacts, it's just easier for me not to wear a contact in my right eye, and my eyes adjust. But if I'm trying to read, I'll focus with the right eye. But if I'm looking distance, left eye, because it doesn't see well up front. Walmart optometrists. But God's L So it was kind of cool that Clark Kent, Clark Kent, KKK, white supremacist Superman, is from the House of El. Hey, I technically am from the House of El, if you stretch it. And then with the new Krypton series that came and then died, because, people now can stream, and they can pick a day when they want to stream, and it doesn't have to be when we show the show. And so as a result of the low numbers, they say, oh, well, gee, I guess nobody's interested, so we'll just stop it. Okay, well, whatever. But it was kind of cool because they showed the Krypton high priest god was named Ra, the Egyptian Ra. Well done, guys. And so House of El, God's El, Egyptian god Ra. So here's my family crest. Kind of fun. I do have the family crest hanging on the wall right here. I'm not going to show it to you. But yeah, we all pay attention to our names, don't we? So the one or two of you that decided to watch this video, I don't know how long you've lasted. But that's my name.